Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm really excited to bring to you guys a review of one of the newer fragrances from Zoologist. It's Dragonfly. They were very generous to send me a sample and I've been wearing it and I'm ready to let you guys know what I think. So if you'd like to know what I think of Dragonfly, its projection, its longevity, and also if it fits really well with the lineup of the already amazing fragrances from Zoologist, then keep watching. Okay, so let's get into this fragrance. I had already filmed myself reading this entire thing and I realized I wasn't recording. And it's not that I'm too lazy to reread it, I just kind of like realized that I really am just not the best person for reading aloud. So basically, to summarize this, it's this beautiful idea of the beauty of nature, these billowing breezes, this cool environment, and the birth of dragonflies from just like a cool pond where it meets like sea and sky almost, but not sea, like water and sky. It's just this beautiful idea of just like the birth of dragonflies. I think it's really cool how different cultures actually will take something so basic as an insect and create a lot of symbolism and mystery and magic and history and lore behind them. And the dragonfly is just one of those just little critters that seems to be, no matter where you go, there's always something that it stands for, and it's usually something really, really cool and awesome. So I'm not going to get into the symbolism of dragonflies throughout other cultures, that's not the point of this video, but I just kind of wanted to talk about like the conceptual fragrance that this is, because all of Zoologist fragrances to me are very conceptual, but they're done in a very easy to understand way. They take fragrances or take animals and their environment and turn them into very real, wearable fragrances. Like beaver, it's kind of like you're out by the lake and it's just rained and it's just kind of wet and moist and just green smelling and bright and woody. Bat cave is living very damp, animalic, vegetal, like dirty, but still very wearable. Same thing with hummingbird. It's kind of like, it reminds me of the flowers and the nectar that they drink. It's just very sweet. Everything makes sense to what the animal lives. Now with a thing like dragonflies you can find a lot of different areas. So for me, the fact that they took a very conceptual idea of what it seems of the birth of a dragonfly and the environment that this dragonfly would be born from and turned it into this fragrance, I thought was really cool. Again, I'm just summarizing this entire thing right here. I will actually type this below in the description box if you want to read this little blurb for yourself. But let's get into the fragrance, because we're not here to talk about the conceptual part of this fragrance. We're here to talk about the juice. So let's talk about the notes first and foremost. Now, as you guys know, Zoologist doesn't use any animal products in their fragrances, which is really cool. So the top notes are aldehydes, heliotrope, lemon, peony, and rainwater. If I mispronounce any ingredients or notes, I am so sorry. There's a lot of them in here that I'm always really bad at pronouncing. The heart notes are cherry blossom, clover, iris, lotus, and rice. The base notes are amber, moss, musk, papyrus, and sandalwood. Now, I am wearing this fragrance now, and I love this fragrance. Let's just throw it, let's just let you guys know. I was so excited for this fragrance, and this fragrance surprised me and completely blew away any expectations I had about what this would smell like. I was at first concerned it might be too sweet. I love hummingbird. I own hummingbird. I think hummingbird is sweet in all the perfectly right ways, but sometimes you can lose a lot of different things when you add certain ingredients to this. And you guys know I have to read notes to remember what's in them because my brain is just like a bucket with holes in it. The notes that I was worried about in this, I was worried about the amber, I was worried about the cherry blossom, I was also worried about the lemon and the aldehydes. Now the aldehydes to me can make or break a fragrance, and I think in this fragrance it makes it, but all the other fragrances, specifically the amber, if they're not done in the right balance, if they're not balanced correctly, they can immediately overpower a fragrance and you just get another amber fragrance, another lemon fragrance, another cherry blossom fragrance. Everything has to be in balance for things to work. And that's where I think Zoologist shines. A lot of their fragrances, in fact most of their fragrances, are always a ridiculously large variety of different notes, but they all come together in a very balanced way where you completely understand what they're trying to achieve. This is beautifully sweet, but not sweet like hummingbird. It's just like a very kind of like green, almost slightly vegetal sweetness to it. And it's really hard to describe. I'm really bad at describing things, I'm sorry. But that's kind of what this reminds me of. I get the iris and I get the clover, and the lemon adds a little bit of brightness, and the amber provides a little bit of warmth, and it's got the sparklingness of everything else mixed with the green, mixed with the moss. It just comes together to create this really beautiful fragrance that does remind me of sitting in a garden and just watching a bunch of dragonflies fly by, because that's kind of where I live. I've shown you guys where I live before. I live in a really nice area. Let me just turn the camera around and I'll show you what I mean. This is my backyard, and those are the trees, and we're doing a little bit of work over there. That's the guest house. It's beautiful here, and all of this is the ridiculously hard work of my mother-in-law. But as you can see from that little pond is a koi pond, and we have a bunch of fish in there, and that's where the dragonflies live, and it's just so wonderful. And that's kind of like what I mean, like this fragrance reminds me of just sitting out here and watching the dragonflies and just really appreciating the Florida environment and nature. It really does remind me of that, which is really, really cool. The fact that I feel transported to my yard. And by my yard, I mean my mother-in-law's yard. She's been caring for this property for like her entire life. Her family's lived here for over 100 years. I live in the house that her father and grandfather built, you know. But when I'm talking about like transporting a fragrance and reminding me of the environment where animals live, which is what I think sets Zoologist apart from other fragrances, is that it takes me to here. And I thought that was just so ridiculously awesome. It's just a beautiful fragrance. I think it captures the environment that you would expect to see dragonflies well. It's beautiful, it's slightly muted, but there's a lot going on, but it all comes together and creates this just really outstanding fragrance. Now, I get a lot of aldehydes in the opening. We're going to talk about the actual fragrance now. I get a lot of aldehydes in the opening and a little bit of lemon, but what I get most in this fragrance is iris and clover and moss, which is really, really nice. I love the mix of that, mixed with the rainwater element to it is really nice too. It's a very wet, moist fragrance, but it's not like a wet dampness kind of like bat or even beaver. It's kind of more of like a bright wetness, like a fine dew, like you wake up in the morning and just the air's crisp and cool and wet. It's not like a oppressive wetness. It's actually like a light, airy, sparkling moistness. And oh my gosh, if you guys hate the word moist, I'm really sorry. But that's what this fragrance reminds me of, which is really, really nice. As this fragrance wears on my skin, it gets a little bit more warm, a little bit less damp, and a little bit more towards the amber moss notes in this. But overall, it does have a really nice scent story on my skin. It starts off sparkling and bright and kind of ends a little bit more on the deeper, more syrupy sweet side. So it does have a nice transition on my skin. The really excellent thing about this fragrance is the longevity. I get at least 10 hours of wear on my skin with a medium application. That's saying something, because you guys know I look for 4 to 6 hours of wear time on my skin. This just kind of clung to my skin and stuck to it like glue in all the positive ways. And it also has a really nice projection as well. It doesn't fill a room, but it does project enough where you're going to grab people's attention. The first day I wore this fragrance, I got like 2 or 3 compliments from people I didn't know. They thought I smelled beautiful, they wanted to know what it was, and they were just generally very nice, positive compliments from people, and I rarely get compliments from people on my fragrances. So this is a fragrance that has a beautiful scent cloud that is going to attract attention from people, while at the same time it's not oppressive. So I would say this is work safe. I would say this is safe if you're going to the classroom or the theater. I also think that the way that the scent develops on your skin, it's a very versatile fragrance as well. I think that this would probably be most appropriate in the daytime, but I think that because it does have that amber note to it, it does make it a little bit heavier. It might be appropriate for really maybe hot evenings if you wanted to wear something light and sexy and pretty and beautiful and sparkling and sweet without wearing something so heavy that it might suffocate you. So I do think this is a very versatile fragrance as well. Overall, I think this is a great fragrance, and I have had some people ask me if this is a unisex fragrance. This to me is kind of like Hummingbird and Nightingale. It's way more on the feminine side, if not a feminine fragrance, but there are some notes in here that balance out that sweetness, that if you're one of those people that likes to wear unisex bordering on feminine fragrances and you're a man or a woman, I think you would enjoy this, but I would test it first. Other than that, I think this is probably one of the safest fragrances from Zoologist as well. A lot of times their fragrances can be considered a little bit too conceptual for people who don't like conceptual fragrances and just want to smell nice and unique. So if you're looking to get into Zoologist fragrances, or you wanted to add 1 or 2 bottles to your collection to round it out because you just want to have a little bit from each house, I would say this is a fantastic fragrance that I would recommend you checking out. I think it is safe, but in a very positive, non-boring way. It's very beautiful, it's very easy to wear, it's very versatile, and at the same time it is very transportive while being just something sparkling and a little bit magical about this. I really like this one a lot, and this, like I said, exceeded my expectations. Anyway, you guys, I think you all knew how this video was gonna go, but I kind of wanted to get a little bit more into projection and longevity, and it performs beautifully on both fronts. So I can definitely, with all honesty and sincerity, completely recommend Dragonfly. I think it might become my favorite fragrance from Zoologist, and that's saying a lot because I love civet, I love rhinoceros, I love hummingbird, nightingale, but there's just something really magical about this fragrance that I don't see in a lot of other fragrances, and I love how balanced it is and how it performs, and everything about it is just perfect. So definitely check it out, see if you can get a sample or test out a bottle of it. I'm not sure it's available yet, but once it is available, I will link the link for it down below. Any case, guys, I hope you like this review. As always, if you guys like my fragrance reviews and you want to see more reviews like this or fragrance videos in general, remember to give this video a thumbs up. It lets me know to continue doing videos like this. And also don't forget to subscribe, because it's free and I'm free, and I put out new videos every Monday through Friday and sometimes on the weekends as well. So I'll always have something for you to watch. In any case, I hope you guys are all happy and healthy and have a great day, month, year, whatever. And I will see you next time. Bye!